what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to talk about the OVA Attack on Titan. It's the Attack on Titan No Regret Part 1 0.5 A review. So, we gonna talk about this. Getting to this episode was quite interesting because I guess this episode, so to speak, takes place even before the events of the episodes that we just saw, because this is basically the origins of Levi and how Levi became a part of the Scout Regiment, and how he is what he is today. So, several years ago, there was like an underground district, which basically hid citizens from the sunlight, and Levi was one of them, and there was other characters that were with her, like Ferlin, who they were like together, like in this like house together or whatever in there. But again, with the sunlight, you know, it damages them because they don't have sunlight in there. So they need a lot of supplies and they have to like pay taxes and stuff like that. This is the way of life that everyone has to do in the underground thing. One day, you know, Levi was part of a band of thieves at this church, with his partner, Ferlin, at a church, basically. And they would commit violent stuff to help each other out with food supplies and all that stuff. One day there was eventually this female redhead that would come in to play Isabella, and she was being chased down for robbing, or she was being chased down by a guard for like a bird, an injured bird, basically, and she refused to give it up or whatever, and they basically were telling them, like, you have to stop, you know, you have to hand her over. And they ultimately just attacked them because they were on their property, not because of Isabella. But Isabella decides to join Levi and Fertlin. And, you know, she has to pull her weight, though, and clean up after herself because that's what they do. They're neat freaks. Eventually, she helps out the bird, and the bird would eventually be freed by her. That was basically like the gist of most of the story there. For the public disclaimer, though, the underground, end quote, the underground build as a part of a colony to avoid Titans. However, it turned into a slump for criminals and the poor after the protection was halt. So that's what they're basically saying, is this underground is for poor and criminals. So even if you're not even a criminal, you can be down here. And ain't no way you getting up. Surprisingly enough, Levi and Ferlin had trained themselves to know how to use ODM gear, which they eventually taught Isabella when she joined the gang as well. They were doing various missions together by themselves. And eventually they were passed by a mysterious man and they were used as hostages to ensure that they would have this job. So basically, like, there was this guy that wanted to see them, and I guess he was like the leader of this whole underground operation or whatever. And he basically told them that if they took this job, that they would get all this money and they could possibly even be freed from the underground and whatnot and be like citizens on the surface as a reward. So the three took the job. They would outrun the military police because everyone was like chasing after them. Eventually, the Survey Corps would capture them, led by Arvin. So this is how Levi meets Arvin, who offered to clear Levi and the others of their crimes and in exchange to join the Survey Corps because they were obviously trained and skilled and they needed people like that. So this was their like reward for this, I guess. So it was definitely a big change for sure for them, because again they were doing all this by themselves, and a lot of emphasis to detail with the story. Like I said, it is quite an interesting story because again this is the first part of it. But yeah, the underground episode was quite interesting. It was a quite interesting episode. It does get into the whole backstory of Levi and where he came from and this underground whole thing. And it's kind of interesting to see Isabella and Ferlin, who are new characters that we don't know about. We don't know about these characters. They're introduced. Gee, I wonder what happens in the next episode. Well, we'll be reviewing that later, but we're only going to talk about this consistency of the episode, not what happens in the next episode. Yeah. Levi, complete origins here, was quite interesting. Learning more about him, how he joins the Corps. Like I said, the battle scenes were really good in here. Them catching up and then finally getting to Arvin at the end there. It's very vague on a lot of the stuff that they were doing in the episode, but I thought it was a pretty good overall presentation. To know that Levi just kind of was like a thief. But, understandably why. I mean, he's trapped in the underground surface. And we don't really know about this guy that he does this job for, or why he's doing this job. But we do know that he took it, and he befriends these other guy and girl, to kind of help out in this mission. So, yeah, overall, good episode. Learn more about Levi. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good episode. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like to favorite my videos, please subscribe. I will be doing the part 2 at some point, because that came out already. Yeah, that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. Out of here. Peace.